Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving.
Good morning.
Good morning on this fourth Sunday of Advent of unusual circumstances, and I'm just glad to see everyone here who are here. We're Zooming today. On the laptop computer is over here, and I'm waving to the people on Zoom. Good morning, you guys. We're glad you could join us. So it's a flashback back to COVID times. And we're making adjustments as we go to the services. We're glad they're here. And there could be a little chaos in today's service, the way things have been going, and we're going to hang in there. Again, greetings everyone. Fourth Sunday. And I want to mention the beautiful items on the altar. Mary Alice, thank you for bringing in. We lit the candle on the arrangement on the table. And also brought out of the closet our wooden bird candle that we bring out during Advent is on the altar this morning. One of our group members donated that several years ago for a Christmas Eve service, and that's on the altar today. The Prelude this morning is O Tannenbaum, and the music is in today's service is featured from Charlie Brown Christmas Special. I have a coffee table book on today's altar, and the Vince Guaraldi Trio. And I didn't mention that this is my last Sunday today, on Sunday morning, as minister. So Mary Alice, what?
Just speak up.
Okay.
I know it's hard.
appreciate everyone being here under the circumstances today. And I am trying to, this is the home stretch going through my last service here as a minister. For a moment of centering silence, let us pause on this last Sunday of 2025 and breathe. It's been quite a year. On the out-breath, let it all go. And on the in-breath, invite in the fresh and the new, like fresh snow laying on the frozen ground. This will suffice. This will be okay. Breathe in and breathe out, and listen to the sound of the singing bowl. We're going to light our chalice. Nicole, if you would please assist. We light the chalice today on this shortest day of the year and the longest night, just when we need a little light most. And solstice, so don't go anywhere. So especially on the solstice day, our chalice is lit. And we're going to light four candles on the Advent wreath. So we'll start out with the first candle. So you just take a matchstick and take a flame from the chalice or a flame from arrangement. And lighting the first candle of Advent, the short one, the little guy, was for Recollections. And the second Sunday of Advent was for No Gaps. Third Sunday of Advent was for Joy. And today, fourth candle of Advent. It looks like it's going to light. There it goes. For recollections and remembrances. Thank you, Nicole. We light this fourth candle of Advent for recollections and remembrances, noting some of the things that got us to this point where we are, and then moving ahead into the new. A very Advent thing. The here we go. So for opening words, I've been going through my filing cabinet, pulling off magnets and quotes and cards that I've collected. And at my installation service 25 years ago, I collected quotes from that service, and I used Ralph Waldo Emerson's quotes from his Divinity School address. So it seemed fitting today for opening words to select two Emerson quotes from the filing cabinet for today. The first one is, "To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." And he goes on to say, "Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities have certainly crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense." So I'm taking these as my parting words, and good New Year's advice for each of us into the new year, letting go of the clutter and nonsense of our lives as we move forward. Let us sing Angels We Have Heard on High, number 231. And let us stand as you are able. It might be a little difficult to sing with masks on without fogging up the glasses, but we will give it a try. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous screams. Oh, 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 in excelsis Deo, Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why these songs of happy cheer? What great brightness did you see? What glad tidings did you hear? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. See him in a manger laid, whom the angels praise above. Mary, Joseph, lend your aid, while we raise our hearts in love. Gloria in excelsis Deo. In excelsis We have a solstice reading for our group reading this morning, number 542. And we're going to read this together. It's a short one, just as short as the day is today. Number 542, solstice. Again did the earth shift. Again did the nights grow short, and the days long. And the people of the earth were glad, and celebrated each in their own ways. And we will do that later this afternoon in this same space. I'm going to recruit you, Dawn, this morning to circulate our weight for our offertory. Lapishka is on the piano as well. And our piece, again, is a Charlie Brown Christmas special, number 80. title of today's talk is Recollections, subtitled What I Kind of Remember from 25 Years on the Job. What I printed in the bulletin today is a reference to this elusive and kind of vagary endeavor. Since it's impossible, or next to impossible, to summarize 25 years of anything, I'm not even going to make an attempt to do so. Instead, this is a selected few remembrances of what left an impression on me. Each of us collect an assortment of life experiences. It makes us who we are. It's what we share with each other when our lives overlap. So what I've come up with is today's top 10 list, a collection of favorite spiritual teachings, as well as some highlights and notable events from 25 years of ministry here at UU Houlton as minister number 42 in a long line of distinguished and diverse clergy that have served First Church. So starting off with number 1, and we're going to try to keep this moving. I heard someone say this week, keep it moving like a pad of butter sitting on a hot grill. And in the bulletin, you'll see the top 10 list as we progress down there. Here we go. Number 1, the bounce back effect. It's late summer and the owner of a boat rental shop is relaxing on the dock, watching the boats on the lake, and suddenly one of the boats catches his attention. He picks up his megaphone and shouts out on the lake, "Boat number 99, come in please. Your time is up. Return to the dock immediately or I'll have to charge you overtime." One of the boat shop employees comes over and says, "Boss, we only have 75 boats. There is no number 99. He picks up his megaphone and says, "Boat number 66, are you in trouble?" Number 1 on today's top 10 list, we are looking at the ups and downs and oftentimes unanticipated twists and turns of modern day life. A most helpful skill to develop in countering the down effect is what's called the bounce back. Bouncing back is essential to living a sane and balanced life. When your boat is flipped upside down in the water, it's what turns the 99 back into a 66. Resilience, creative innovation, such as using Zoom this morning to connect people in our service. Unwavering determination, all of these are defining qualities of the bounce back effect. Indispensable when moving forward into new and challenging situations as an individual or as a group, such as we are doing right now. Number 2, the installation. According to some, this was reported to be the largest installation at UU Houlton since Reverend Scott Alexander was installed in 1974. We had a string quartet, UU representatives from the district, UU and local clergy, an 18-person ecumenical choir, and a vocal soloist from Bethesda, Maryland. Directing the choir that day was Jesse Tigner Hayden Jr., Renaissance choir director, black U.S. Navy officer who served during the Kennedy administration, a gay, male model, a nudist, lived on Staten Island, New York City, operating a health food store during the 1960s, and made frequent trips to Houlton in the 1990s, visiting his friends at the Unitarian Society. I remember during the St. Patrick's Day service one year, the service leader asked, anyone with Irish background or heritage, please raise your hand. And Jesse raises his hand. He said there was a McQuarrie on his mother's side of the family. So he added that hyphenation to his name, Jesse Tidner Hayden Jr. McQuarrie. And here's another shot of Jesse. Always looked good in a kilt. So our fellowship hall was recently renovated. This was the first public event used in our new look hall downstairs. I remember several returning members could not believe that the renovations were finally finished, that they'd been working on for years, and how nice the building looked for the event. And here are my parents who attended that event, Linda and her mom, Linda's brother, Glenn Rowe. And in the background, you can see some of the renovated fellowship hall that happened on that day. Reverend Scott Alexander delivered the main address. Reverend Martha Newman delivered the charge to the new minister. And we had video recording of it, and I came across Walter Goodrich recorded it on Sony Betamax. It took 4 of these for the 2-hour installation. And this week I came across in our storage closet the VHS format of the entire service, which we could view at some point. We all looked much younger 25 years ago. The highlight of the service was Michael Fasulo at the tail end playing Come On Baby, Light My Fire on the church organ, which is on the VHS tape. Number 3, Hippo Eats Scott Alexander. This is a picture of Scott, who was the keynote speaker that day of the installation. And Scott and I were roommates at the GA convention in Portland, Oregon in 2007. And I remember we went out for breakfast and at a close by pancake house. And this is where the hippos come in. As you may surmise, ministers are always on the lookout for good material. So in between mouthfuls of breakfast, Scott and I were talking about successful sermon ideas. Most ministers keep 2 files for their sermon. One file for, do not try this one again, and a second file marked, reruns. Scott mentioned a sermon he had delivered a couple of years ago titled, Don't Let the Hippos Get You. A sermon based on an old Egyptian myth that he had seen another colleague use in a sermon. See how this thing starts to work? Scott said it was online in his sermon archive at the church website and suggested that I check it out. So when I got back to Houlton, I decided to Google Hippo Eats Scott Alexander and see what comes up. I figured this would be a quick and easy way to track down the material. And sure enough, Scott's archive came up number 4 in the search. And I was well on my way to writing my next sermon. And this is a short section of the Hippo teaching. In the West, we have a wide assortment of jokes about what happens when you die and stand before St. Peter at the pearly gates. The Egyptians had their own take on this. According to the old Egyptian myth, when a person dies, they are confronted by the god Osiris with a quiz that has to be answered honestly. Don't try to cheat Osiris. After 42 routine questions concerning how the deceased had lived and conducted themselves, Osiris asked a crucial 2-part question. First, did you find joy? And second, did you bring joy? If they can answer these questions affirmatively, they are returned a measure of continued existence in, say, Cairo or Cleveland. If not, they are taken away and forthwith eaten by a hippopotamus. End of existence. The purpose of our earthly journey, according to Egyptian religion, is simply this. Did you find joy, and did you bring joy during your life? This is one of the best summations I've come across in the What's It All About Anyways? Or what constitutes a well-lived life. Dale's sermon last week on the third Sunday of Advent on joy, and captured this same theme. Did you find joy? How do you find joy? How do you share it? Number 4, Rubber Chicken Sunday. The bird would usually show up the Sunday closest to April Fool's Day, often known as Good Humor Sunday, April Fool's Sunday, that happened to fall on April Fool's Day, or simply became known as Joke Sunday. And Lee made a reference to this a few weeks ago when reflecting on previous services. Part of the routine was Dusty and Lefty bad jokes from the Garrison Keillor Prairie Home Companion Show, where John Pasquarelli and Larry Tonzi would perform at. And Roger Morin would do his Karnak the Magnificent on the Johnny Carson show that Johnny Carson used to do. And he did his version of The Great Morini. And this self-portrait of Roger downstairs in our Cup Cafe, that was the outfit he wore of his Grand Morini outfit. And this is a shot of Roger, a self-portrait, that was at his funeral that we did here at the church. But part of it that Lee was asking about was we actually had a plaque of Houlton Joke Sunday, and the winners of this, the best joke that day. And we have, the first winner was Linda Rowe in 2007. Roger Morin won this. There was a group UU Jokesters group one year, Laney Lloyd, and several other names on this. And this was the Emerson Cup that was awarded to the winner of each year. One of those traditions. This is Lois Moore, again a painting downstairs. She won the joke contest on 2 occasions. And this is a Photoshop picture of Roger capturing that whole flavor of humor of the Sumu chess player. And a couple of shots from a Joke Sunday of sombreros. Number 5, the 5-word secret. At one of his talks in the latter part of his life, J. Krishnamurti, the philosopher, surprised his audience by asking, "Do you want to know my secret?" Everyone became alert. Many people in the audience had been coming to listen to him for 20 or 30 years, and sometimes still failed to grasp the essence of his teaching. So finally, after all these years, the master would give them the key to his great understanding. And Krishnamurti said, "This is my secret. I don't mind what happens." If you don't mind what happens, it does not imply that you don't like what's happening. It does not imply you can't change what's going on. It simply means you approach the problem differently. If you don't mind what happens, you are yielding to the reality of the moment. Or in traditional religious language, this is referred to as surrendering or grace. When you accept what is, every moment, whatever it is, that is the very best. This is enlightened thinking, the 5-word secret. Number 6, the Christmas tree incident. And I'm not sure what year this happened. The tree was in the corner. It was a Christmas Eve service, I believe, and the Uni Tunes were singing. And we were nearing the end of our song. And that's when I noticed the tree beginning to sway and move. And before I knew it, it had landed of Fred, if I'm remembering correctly. And at the end of the song, we, as a group, were able to surround Fred and get the tree, push it back up into position, and we continued on with the Christmas service. And that story is told numerous times, depending who you talk to, and who was here at that Christmas Eve service, the Christmas tree incident. Number 7, feel the buzz. And you may recognize this is a tagline that we've used for the Cup Cafe, which officially opened in the fall of 2012 as an expanded concept of a Houlton coffee house, which originated 20 years earlier in 1992. And I remember in the early days of a coffee house, people would say, "You should do this more often." So we did, and that's what turned into the expanded cafe concept of having a meeting more often on weekends for a coffee house. And this was the original menu that came out that year, and it talked about being the third place. As coffee houses and cafes have always provided a third place. The first and second places being home and the workplace, where people can relax and socialize while getting a decent cup of coffee at the same time. Our aim is to create a space for extended conversations, an exchange of ideas, and an appreciation of the arts. And through the years, those aspects or parts of the cafe is what happened. So this photograph, again, was from last week's event, and I'm going to come back to that. This picture is out of order. Just want to show a few glimpses of what went on in the cafe in those days, a pizza night that you may remember. And here's Susan Glick was one of the key people in that pizza night crew, Lainey Lloyd, Barb Erickson. And this is just a photo of one of the creations and creative. I'd never seen so many interesting. I think Lainey mentioned that a couple of weeks ago when she shared that in the service. There were film nights, book discussion groups, special groups coming renting in for baby showers, and of course, coffee house night and concerts. And I'm just going to show a few photographs. Frank Sullivan was one of our early baristas and is still here. And I remember the coffee research trip we took to Greenfield, Massachusetts, for Pierce Brothers Coffee Roasters, Equal Exchange in Boston. And that was the best road trip that Frank and I ever took. Again, another one of our baristas, Fanny Carmichael. Carlos Jeffers, who was one of the early creators of a Cup Cafe on our website, and a personality, performer, and artist. Then the coffee house itself, I just got a few images of some of the performers through the years. This is Don Rollins, the founder, who came back at our 10-year reunion and emceed the coffee house and performed. And just showing a couple of the bands that performed between Dead Stations, coffee house stage. Dan Blakesley from Southern Maine, former same high school as Linda Rowe, performed, did a Halloween show here. And a lineup of Overland Warehouse, some images of performers, Chris Bond and myself. And on this was the largest drum set that ever appeared on the Houlton Coffee House stage. It filled up half the stage, Wolf Turner from Headspace. Gunther Brown, Travis Humphrey, the ghost of Paul Revere. And that night, ushers at the concert were in their cowboy country attire were Bill White and John Lloyd. One of my favorite photos from that era. One of my best job perks working at the Unitarian Society that I often tell people was having an espresso bar right next to my office. This also made it easier to go to work on a Monday morning, and where a lot of my one-on-one meetings occurred, always looking for an excuse to turn on the espresso machine. So going back to that photograph of me holding the cake last week, Dave's last show, it was certainly a highlight, an emotional highlight, I must say, of my experience as MC and stage manager of the Houlton Coffee House. It was a great crowd, over 60-ish people, depending on some people's count. I hadn't seen some of these people in years. The cafe was buzzing that night. Food was great in the kitchen. The baristas were busy. And the surprise party, I never saw it coming. You guys kept the whole surprise operation under wraps. Linda never let it slip. Ira put together an amazing slideshow. I even passed Catherine, as I mentioned, in the Hannaford parking lot as she was going in, I was coming out. She was not realizing she was going in to pick up the cake. No one had ever planned a surprise party for me. You guys did an amazing job, and I'll always remember it. And as of Saturday morning, yesterday, there were just shy of 9,000 views on the coffee house related events and the musicians that played that night, which is some sort of record. And that's become that shot of me holding the cake kind of epitomizes this retirement experience for me, and capturing that vibe. Moving right along. Oh, there's just a few more shots. This is the Lovejoy and Pelletier jazz trio. And this was their sound setup when they did a concert at the Unitarian Concert Series upstairs. It was a packed stage, and it was a great night. Now we're moving on to a moment in the sun. Houlton, Maine experienced a total solar eclipse on Monday, April 8th, and as we were literally the end of the line on the path of totality in the United States before it crossed the border into Canada and on its way to Newfoundland. This is one more shot of the downtown. Every business, civic organization, and religious organization in the area joined in the effort to host the event to make it an enjoyable and memorable experience for those who might travel on their way to Houlton to view the eclipse. Our modest-sized organization did the same. UU Houlton started planning in January, and our offerings included running our cafe 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 4 days, 5 concerts in 4 days, co-sponsoring a metaphysical tent in the parking lot across the street, sponsoring a day of mindful movement, a planetary moment of silence, eclipse rock, and more. In retrospect, it was an ambitious undertaking of how often does a total solar eclipse come to your town. This was the biggest event to ever hit Houlton, Maine, and in my 25 years of involvement with the UU Church of Houlton, this was by far our largest undertaking. There was even a film crew from New York City making a full-length documentary about how a town of 6,000 people prepare for 20 to 40,000 estimated anticipating eclipse viewers coming to Houlton. In short, I will say it was the most amazing, memorable, creative, cosmic, transcendent, and exhilarating experience of my personal and professional life. I was never so proud of what our organization accomplished for the community and for those who attended as I was of our Eclipse 24 efforts. It was also the most difficult and challenging and exhausting thing I had ever done as minister of this UU group. A total solar eclipse is astrologically and practically not the best time to organize and sponsor an event of this size. Next time a total solar eclipse comes to Houlton, my advice to the UU leadership team is to consider a curtailed version. That being said, I want to show a few slides as quickly as I can, just to capture a bit of the vibe. Okay, these were a series of photographs that we captured of the alien glasses that Christoph ordered online, and I'm not sure how many we went through. They were not Eclipse certified safety glasses, but they were very cool and a lot of fun. And here are just a few of the photographs. People were willing to pose for photographs. Do you remember when I took that? A lot of construction and preparation went into this. We added new freezers and to the storage unit, brand new storage units constructed by Mac. Did a lot of that work and the volunteers. And here's the image from the film, A Moment in the Sun. And this shot was taken at the Cup Cafe and was in the Bangor Daily newspaper in the county of Mia Weinberg and Tom Valcalkin. They essentially had their headquarters in the Cup Cafe while they were here for the shoot. And here's part of the team as they arrived. And I remember in service, they were here for the Easter service doing some shots in the parlor. And of course the film crew was back for the Eclipse service we did that weekend. And it was interesting to be part of that. The building became like a reality TV show set, you know, for a week. And just some more shots of the building. This is now just approaching the eclipse time. And this is Diane's children were here joining Matt for the event. Then down by the office doors where we saw totality. Two members of UU Houlton, Ray Byers and Audrey Zimmerman, sent this photograph of watching the total eclipse. And then we got this shot, Don, that you sent that I love from Florida. And Janet, along with Don. And just an image of totality. And we took group photos outside, and then in the sanctuary we also have a series of photographs taken on a follow-up service that we did. And it was still pretty cold, even by mid-April when we were doing this shoot. Angie Watton happened to be walking by after the Methodist service, and she posed for a few photographs and put on the glasses for us. Dwayne, who has since passed, a big part of the Eclipse event. Cindy. We had shots of the kids as well, doing things on the piano, art. A lot of art was going on for the children that weekend. It just didn't make the cut, you know, didn't get everything into the slideshow. Number 9, my mentor's advice. My mentor and predecessor in Houlton was Reverend Martha Newman, UU minister number 41. The most important piece of advice that she gave me as a young minister was the word presence. Again, this is not what I expected to hear for this concise consolidated advice to a new minister. She said, be present to your congregation and to individuals. Model calm, open availability, especially when they need it the most. Later on, colleagues started talking about the importance of being a non-anxious presence, which became kind of a buzzword in psychological, clerical circles. Martha had been doing that and talking about that for years. She said, it's not about you, it's always about the people. Help people tell their stories. Since you're part-time, it's a good idea to keep track of your billable hours, if not but for your own mental sanity. But in the end, ministry is not a part-time job. Ministry is 24/7. It doesn't matter if it's during office hours or in the middle of the night. You help whenever you can help. Some of the best advice I ever received, and I tried to use it whenever I could, Martha would have approved. Even when Martha gave me difficult to hear advice, she always did it with a smile on her face, which made it a little easier to hear. They say the wisest of teachers and sages always have a smile on their face and are often prone to giggle. That was certainly true of my mentor. When I was looking at some of the video footage from the installation on that VHS tape, Martha was there. I had probably the only footage we have of her when she was ministering here. What meant so much is she believed in me. She reminds me of Dale in so many ways. Dale knew her as a colleague in an ecumenical ministerial group back in the 90s. I never really had a mentor in my life up to that point, until Martha and our small collection of sermons that she gave to me before she left. And I think it's important for those to be in the archive here at the church. Her eloquence in articulation and beauty in writing. I would like to add those to the Houlton archive as a sample of her writings, her elegance, and her deep commitment here to the Houlton Church. In a difficult transition period when she said, people say there is no hope for Houlton, and she proved them wrong. Number 10, the best job in the world. For years now, when I came to work on a Monday morning, I'd walk into my office, sit down in my squeaky swivel office chair that I found in back of a choir loft in storage when I arrived. I'd pause and say, almost as a memo to myself, I have the best job in the world. It may not be the best paying job. It may not be the most visible or glitzy job in the world, but for me, if anyone ever asked, I'd always say, I've got the best job in the world. I remember one summer, our building was open during the July 4th holiday, and I was working a barista shift in the cafe. And a couple sat down at the bar for cappuccinos and started asking about the place. They were curious about the history of the building, the cafe, and they asked, how many members do you have to pull this off? They were impressed that the building was on the National Historic Registry and how active the place was. When I said we had about 25 people at the time and a modest trust fund, they were noticeably shocked. Then they asked if we still operate as an active religious organization with regular services. When I replied in the affirmative, they were even more impressed. I told them as a part-time minister and part-time barista, I felt like I had the best job in the world. I get to guide historic tours of this building to interested people. Bill White would give the tours, and I would continue the tradition. History was my minor in undergraduate, and this gave me a chance to explore Houlton history, First Church history, which overlap so many times. I would do the tours. I get to pull shots of espresso behind a handcrafted bar built by one of our members of our church, and the story, the lumber, and I know the trees and where the trees came from, so we construct all those tables. And I am also a minister, spiritual guide, and assistant to those who are members of an active religious society, which is so difficult to pull off these days, no matter what size or location that organization might be in. So for me, it doesn't get any better than that. And the attempt on trying to come up with a summary or a service for today, the top 10 list was my approach. It came up with that in 2 minutes. Writing down, had about 12, had to edit it down to 10, but came up with, the ideas kept flowing, so many, it was endless, but in 2 minutes, got them down, and it comes from this years and lifetimes of memories, people, events, food, music, art, people who would show up just for one weekend on a visit, and we'd never see them again. They had this connection of finding us and amazed by what was here, and the people, and the building, and architecture. And that is, I find myself telling stories. They may not be accurate on the timeline, the dates, and trying to piece together when did something happen, but so many bands and so many events just provided this just rich itinerary memories and exchanges as our lives overlap. And those who are gone, who are no longer with us, and can carry those stories and memories of those people forward. So, to wind this down, just a collage of photographs and some music. So this is George Winston's December album, Joy. And I'm just going to run some photographs. I may comment on a few as we go. This was during COVID. This was one of our annual meetings a few years ago. typical coffee hour. Shots from Pride services. Midnight Madness. Oops. Our trip to Connell House in Woodstock. Dale's 80th birthday. Fresh celery from Mac's garden. May. Jeremy. Tom. It was cold that day, I remember. Catherine. There's some UUs there in the background. Fiesta. Our birthday party choice. So we extinguished the chalice. It's been quite a run, and I have appreciated every part of the journey, the hard parts and the unknowns, and so many good parts. While the chalice goes out, what we carry with us endures like a light of compassion, connection, commitment. Amen. I wasn't sure if I could get through all that. Thanks for holding me in I've been watching this candle now.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you'd like to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and help us out by sharing this message by clicking the share button. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to you, Church Houlton, there is a link to our online donations in the video description down below. And again, thank you so much and have a blessed day.